To this conversation now, over the past few days, South Africa has seen a significant surge in vehicle recalls affecting a wide range of popular brands, including Volkswagen, a Volvo, a Mercedes-Benz, a Toyota, as well as Ford, and most recently Jaguar joining with the recalling of the E-Pace models over tearing airbags. Many of these actions were mandated by the National Consumer Commission to address serious safety defects, and for more on this, we speak to the National Consumer Commission's Complaints and Investigations Head, Prudence Moilwa. Prudence, a very good morning to you. Thank you so much for making time for us this morning. I think even for our audience, they know that when Prudence comes on, that it must be related to the recalls of cars in recent days. And of course, that's not the only thing that you're focusing on. But seemingly, there has been a lot of recalls that we have been seeing in the country. What's happening?
Yes, the Commission also agrees with you. You know, we have seen a significant increase of recalls for purposes of safety. On the one hand, as I said before, we as the Commission are encouraged to say that, manufacturers are following the law, because they are duty-bound to inform the Commission as and when they pick up safety issues to ensure that we communicate with consumers as we are doing now, to warn them and also to encourage them to take back the vehicles. But on the other hand, it is a concern that indeed there seems to be a safety issue, or even the quality of the vehicle on our road is concerning.
Yeah, and what does that tell us? And I understand that on one part, at least, it is the compliance to make sure that there is reporting to the National Consumer Commission and to their clients as well. But then on the other end, seeing so many recalls every second week, we have a conversation about cars being recalled.
Yeah. Yeah, look, as the Commission, we are reviewing the information. We're at a stage wherein we are really looking at whether, there is a need for a preliminary inquiry. We're doing preliminary inquiries with each and every recall to check whether there should be action from our side. So I think as we are reviewing the information, we're cautiously saying we are concerned and something needs to be done to address the issue of the quality of the vehicles, especially because it's a safety concern. So I think for what is important for now, Aldrin, is for consumers to then adhere to the call of saying return the vehicles, let them be fixed properly so that you are kept safe. But also, on the other hand, from our side, in terms of the Consumer Protection Act, we are duty-bound to check if any prohibited conduct has taken place in terms of the quality and safety of these vehicles. Any type of negligence around communication, number one. Number two, decisions, as well as just the quality assurance that happens when the vehicles are manufactured.
Has the Commission looked at whether these recalls are commensurate with what is being experienced in other countries as well, with the same models and same manufacturers in terms of recalls that are happening in other countries?
Yes, we are watching the space. I think the trend that we picked up before was around the issue of airbags, wherein the concern arose because of what happened with the Takata airbags after they went under. We also accepted that, the other recalls would happen, affecting a wide range of vehicles, because the Takata was the provider of the majority of the airbags in the on the vehicles that are on our roads. So that we accepted. But then we also see, even after the Takata airbag recalls, that now we're picking up that airbags that have now been manufactured now lately around the 2000s are now showing signs of defects. That's another issue. But then we're also picking up trends on issues of seat belts, issues of fractures on the engine camshafts, and a wide range of defects. One then wonders about quality assurance during production. So it's that kind of thing. So while we were watching the trend around the Takata airbags, we then also started seeing a surge in the new airbags, but also in a wide range of different types of defects on the vehicles. And that is of concern to us, and hence we are continuing with this engagement to see whether, it's an issue that the Commission should rather, consider looking closely at each and every recall to see if there was any type of prohibited conduct going on.
Yeah, but to what extent, and here I'm not trying to blast any of the manufacturers here, but to what extent is the National Consumer Commission getting reports and complaints, maybe, and even recalls around cars that are manufactured in China? And I'm asking this also on the basis that we've seen that the Chinese manufacturers, their car models, there's also huge uptake in South Africa. And I wonder whether these reports of such recalls of well-known brands like Mercedes, Volvo, has an impact on the consumer's final decision on what car to go for.
Yeah, look, it's difficult to say. We have received notification. I think there was one of Sherry recall, I think, in the past few months. But it's not necessarily that it's showing a trend that the vehicles from that part of the world are problematic. As I say, we're seeing this trend across all brands. As you say, all the brands that you've mentioned, Mercedes-Benz, Volvo, Ford, all the brands, including Stellantis as well, and all their various brands. So it's not necessarily the issue just because of the uptake and the fact that they're concerned. I think right now what we are picking up is that it covers all brands of vehicles, including the ones from China as well. So we are watching this, but I think it's still early days to really settle on the type of trend and where the problem could be coming from. I think generically what we're picking up is that cars across the board are not at the level of quality that perhaps is expected in terms of the Consumer Protection Act. As I've already indicated, we don't mean to sound the alarm, but it's something that the Commission is looking at. Preliminary, we are engaging with the suppliers, with assessing the information so that we check whether or not any wrongdoing has occurred in this regard.
Yeah, my figures are telling me that there has been at least around 7,000 recalls this month alone. What are your figures telling you?
You know, it's difficult to say because the way that they've communicated the information is to give us a range, right? For example, when you look at Ford Ranger and Everest recall, they've said to us cars that were made available between June 2022 and March 2025. We wouldn't, because it doesn't really help us much to then say it's only 15 vehicles. We would like people who have these vehicles that fit the description to check with their VIN numbers with the suppliers, not only just for the numbers. I think we will get to a point where we can validate the actual numbers, but they are quite high. But right now, what we are focusing on is to then look at the date ranges. Before we were reporting on the actual numbers, but we saw that the number actually increases. For example, for the Polo recall, we started with a particular number, but a week later, we also found out that there were other Polos that were affected, and then it increases the number. So we go public with the numbers, the number then changes in terms of the recall notifications that we then get.
Yeah, and then finally, from an insurance perspective, is there any role that the insurance companies can play around the safety of some of these vehicles? Because on one end, as an insurance company, you insure a client on the basis that you know that the vehicle is fit and proper and would have met the minimum standards to be on the road, only for that client to actually use the vehicle and that vehicle ending up in an accident, which then also means that it affects the baseline of the insurance company.
Yeah, I think when it comes to insurance, especially from the consumer protection perspective, I don't think it would really affect the premiums, number one. Number two, because these vehicles are fitted with the manufacturer-approved parts, it doesn't necessarily affect the quality of the vehicles to an extent where we can say that perhaps the value of the vehicle might go up or down, affecting, the insurable interest. So at this stage, I think the only time when we had engaged the Insurance Association of South Africa was just to also get statistics from their part. Obviously, broadly, when we look at the issue of safety, around the issue of what could possibly be causing the accident, we would also, engage with the Insurance Association. It would be quite interesting to also hear their perspective on this issue. Right now, we haven't engaged at that level.
Yeah, it would be interesting to hear what they have to say about this as well. Thank you so much. Prudence Moilwa is the National Consumer Commission's Complaints and Investigations Head.